Ringside Club Paul, A.O., Blame Boogie, Chad Law. The power's back, triple power bomb. The big dog trio in the stream yard. Go outside, hit the venue guard. It's all love when you see us, Lord. Back to the pad, on air for the pod. Ringside Club, intro to the squad. Let the show start. Yeah. What's good, man?
Man, live from the car phone. Just got out the Jimington. Got a nice cigar ready. No trees. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the cigar game. Trying something different for the summer. You know, my cigar tip. You know what I'm saying? Trying to mess with some smart cigar bars. You know what I mean? Calm vibe. Shout out to my cigar smokers out there, yo. Cigar and wine, great combination. Peace. Peace to the gods. I can't hear you. Wait, I can't hear you. There we go. Yep, that's one. Yeah, we was good too. I still can't hear you. Damn. God damn.
Love it.
There we go. Now I hear you.
Now you hear me.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't even do anything. Restream is out here StreamYarding, man.
Like a mug. Oh man, it's been felt like a funeral all day, man. It's crazy, bro. Sick how things have turned out. You know what I mean? Damn, now I can't hear you again. What is happening? But you can hear me, but I can't hear you. But I just heard you, and I didn't hear you again. That was crazy. And you hear me this whole time, lighter flicking all. Word to Weezy. Once again, shout out to the cigar smokers out there. We get it right. This is our AEW Double or Nothing predictions episode. We are definitely running through a hell of a card. It's a lot of matches this weekend. So many on deck. You know, the main event, which I don't really know what the main event is right now. I'm seeing it's supposed to be Hangman and Ospreay, but there's also Anarchy in the Arena. But that usually doesn't main event the show. So, you know, you've got that on deck. We've got Jamie Hayter, Mercedes Moné. We just got Okada and Speedball Mike Bailey added. So it's quite a variety of matches on the docket for this Double or Nothing pay-per-view. It's interesting because Double or Nothing always starts to feel like the least exciting or sought-after pay-per-view since AEW has added more shows to their roster.
Check.
To their schedule. Yeah, I hear you. You good, God?
Cool. All right, we in the building. What you talking about?
Yeah, I was saying, you know, Double or Nothing as the last couple of years just doesn't feel like the most exciting pay-per-view on AEW's docket. Like, not anymore.
Really? You ain't looking forward to this?
Like, it just feels like the card doesn't jump out the page like, yo, I'm so excited for this pay-per-view. But then again, it feels like the case every year. Like, it feels like every year the Double or Nothing card is just okay. We included with an okay main event. From Swerve and Christian to Pack Pockets and Kenny Omega. Like, there's just every Double or Nothing card for the last couple of years just don't scream like a bang. And, you know, they turn out to be solid, but on paper, they just don't seem the most exciting. So that's kind of what I've noticed from Double or Nothing in these last couple of years, just looking at the cards. And some of these matches just seem thrown together as is, considering last week's episode, we said, 3 matches we were talking about, and now we've got almost probably, 10 at this point? So,
I mean, to me, that doesn't feel much different from, you know, any combat card, really, where the main event and the big matches are really what you're spending your money on. I think that's pretty consistent. We have two matches with title implications, right? Winner of the Owen Cup
both of those go on to face the world champion at All In.
A new
We
stamp.
already know like Anarchy in the Arena, I think is gonna be that's always fun.
It's gonna be a car crash.
It's gonna be fun.
It'll
You
be a
know,
car.
some of the other matches like Hurt
Forgettable.
Syndicate and Dustin Rhodes and Guevara, that's kind of like a showcase. I think that to me is more so does MJF show up? You know what I mean? But that's whatever.
Them boys got it's 3 tag team titles in that match. 2 of them don't even matter at all. It's
I mean, like
crazy.
this,
It's crazy.
they haven't really built anybody for the Hurt Syndicate that I feel like they're in danger right now. But on the other side, they've been really more so busy with the whole MJF situation than they have been with engaging in real competition. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think this is like, does MJF show up and what does he do? More so than will Dustin and Guevara really challenge them or beat them or anything like that.
Right.
We'll get into the card. Like right now, I just pulled up the Wikipedia. There's 8 matches that are announced. I know Collision is on tonight. Actually, as we speak, Collision is on. So we'll see what comes out of that as far as implications for this weekend as well. But I expect them to add like another couple of matches, definitely on the pre-show and all that.
They just added Okada and Mike Bailey.
Yeah, I see that. I see
Yeah,
that.
that just got added.
That's gonna be solid.
That'd be cool.
That's gonna be solid. But I think this is that very top heavy type of card, where we see, the Mercedes Jamie Hayter match who goes on for the women's. We see Osprey and Hangman who goes on for the men's world title, and then of course the cluster match. You know what I mean? But all that being said, you are tuned into the Ringside Club. This is episode number 120. Peace to the good Sir Blaine Boogie. Peace to Ron, of
Hey.
course. I mean, we're in the building Thursday night live, 9:05 live. Make sure you do follow across all social media outlets. Pardon me. Those are TikTok. We're over there. We're on X. We're on Instagram, Threads. Of course, you can catch me at all the aforementioned spots too. I am A.O. Baker. And subscribe to the podcast. That's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and then YouTube for the video. We're going to be like we talked a little bit about previously, we're going to be predicting and previewing Double or Nothing. There's a lot of shows this weekend, period. Saturday night main event. What is it? Battleground, I think, is on Sunday as well. NXT
Battleground is
joint.
on Sunday.
I think TNA has a show tomorrow.
TNA keeping up as well.
Yeah, TNA has a show tomorrow. Only thing I've seen this week really has been half of Dynamite. I ain't really catch all the Dynamite yesterday, so but we'll get into it. But follow me everywhere I'm at. I am A.O. Baker. Chat, what up?
It's the kid, Chad Law, CHADLAW. Y'all know what's going on with it, man. Got some new album reviews on the way for y'all this weekend. Recovering from last night's disaster.
We could talk more about that, man. Jeez. Jeez, man. All of my fellow New York Knicks fan, what
painful.
Was that?
We lost the game within 8 minutes, man. Like once we lost the game, like that's it. Like
honestly, lost that in 60 seconds.
Like once
there
we
was
started,
still a 7-point lead with 50 something seconds left.
Yeah, we was up 14, and we was just celebrating.
I'm aware.
The Garden energy was high fiving, dapping. It was. I was.
You know what happened?
I can't front. Everybody was hyped.
You know what happened? And I noticed this before the league got completely withered away. I'm like, yo, they're playing to kind of just run the clock out. They stopped being aggressive, and they did not close that game out. They were playing not to lose. They weren't playing to win.
They were just shooting back and forth trying to catch up with the Pacers, and because the Pacers pulling us on us.
Like that's really but not only that, like it would have been fine just trading baskets, but they just weren't aggressive. The Pacers turned the aggression up, and they just started raining threes, but the Knicks weren't even like really aggressive. Like you're supposed to Mariano Rivera that. We put you to bed, put you to sleep.
We got smoked by a dude with no mustache. You know how furious I was looking at Aaron Nix shoot all them threes? And I seen his face on the HD screen with no mustache, and I was like, "Are you kidding me? This is who's defeating us right now."
Horrible.
Shout to Campaign though, man. Campaign came the ball.
My man, well, the ball, man. He hit 2 shots. Let's relax.
Yo, man, Campaign still going. You know what I mean? He gonna
campaign is going campaign. Champagne.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
he gonna contribute. You know what I'm saying? Deuce held it down. Crowd wanted PJ Tucker at some point. You know what I mean? We gonna get PJ Tucker hopefully. You know what I mean? At some point in the game, we might
That's how
need
you know, man. Anytime we're out here cheering for PJ Tucker, it's like, nah, we got the win in the bag. We got the win in the bag. Not so
I
much.
mean, but this wouldn't be Knicks basketball if we didn't lose a game at home. So I'm not particularly down in the dumps like it seems like all sports media is taking a dump on us today, but it's only game one. We'll be all right. Knicks and
Yeah.
6.
I will
Still got
say,
that
I was
record.
saying to somebody, I'm like, there's nothing good to take out of that game, but I am happy that that happened very early, game one. You know what I mean? Get that out of the way, wake up. That's not going to be something that gets repeated. You know what I mean?
Nope.
So I fully expect them, and it's a quick bounce back. It's only today that they have off, and we right back at it tomorrow. You know, so it's a quick bounce back. You get that out of the system and out of the way, and now, all right, still
It'll
Knicks
be a
and 6.
series.
Yeah, it's
I
still
agree.
Knicks and 6.
I agree. It's gonna be a solid series. I think we're up for something good. So, shout out to the Knicks tape. I think we got it, man. I think we're gonna get this in the bag. OKC currently blowing the doors off Minnesota, about to send them home.
Oh, what's the score right now?
Last I checked before we started, it was like 21-13 in the
All
first
right.
couple minutes. I'm sure by now SGA has probably scored about 6, 7 points, 8, 9, 10, 11. So
Let's pull it up. 31-27 right now. Thunder still up.
all right.
Second
So
quarter.
yeah,
That's solid.
Minnesota is trying
I'm
to
pulling
stay
for
up.
Minnesota. Like if I'm putting bread on it, it's OKC, but I'm pulling for Minnesota because there's more, Knick fan. I'm still rooting for DiVincenzo, still
Yeah,
rooting for Randall.
it's a story. It's a hell of a
Yeah,
story if it's Knicks and Timberwolves in the
yeah, that would
finals.
be pretty dope. That would be
That's
pretty dope. I
that's
mean,
that's
Hartenstein
crazy.
is in OKC, but Hartenstein ain't DiVincenzo and Randall.
Obi Toppin's in Indiana
I'm
going
saying
crazy.
this Knicks in the Final Four.
That's what everybody's just being like. You know what? At least if the Knicks don't win, at least we got
Nah,
one of our former guys.
Relax. Let's not get crazy.
We
I'm
got a
happy
former
for him.
former Nick in
Yeah,
a championship contention, like so.
bro. I'd be sicker if Minnesota won. Like, imagine Minnesota wins the chip. We just made the trade to send Julius Randle and DiVincenzo out of here, and they win the chip. I'd be sick.
Bro, I actually would really expect that because I saw that coming. I was like, yo, don't get rid of Randall. I was one of the few people that said don't get rid of Randall. Like, he
Yeah,
isn't even back yet. Like, give it a try. I'm not
yeah,
mad at Cat. Good
yeah. I
addition.
was not. I
Great
was on
pickup.
that same type of time, and it worked out. But I was definitely on that same type of time. Like, I'm looking at, you got all of these Villanova boys. You got Randall fresh coming back. You have a really, really solid core and a solid bench. And Tibbs ain't playing with 3 people off the bench as it is.
And we got
I,
dogs.
yeah, I thought that was a nice, a nice put together, a well put together team.
I
And I
agree.
was anxious to at least see what it looked like. I didn't even get a chance to see a month or two
That was
before they
insane.
made that deal. That being said, it's not like the Knicks fell off. You know what I mean? They ended up still having a dope year, and Cat's doing what I expected and hoped Cat would do.
Need him to do. I
You know what I
mean,
mean?
Brunson 40, Cat 35. Like, everybody showed up. Josh Hart having a Josh Hart type of game. Not surprised.
Yo, Josh Hart, man, is Josh Hart is the type of player that wins you a championship, and it's not going to show up in the box score.
Yeah.
And
Only the rebounds
with
was
that being
clutch.
said, he's knocking triple doubles out left and right. But with that being said, it's not that the stats are going to blow you away where he's doing 40 and 20 and 10 or anything like that. He's not putting up those type of numbers, but he's the one that's hustling for it. Him and Mitch, right? Mitch Robinson and Josh
Difference
Hart
maker.
are the type of players that win championships. You cannot win a championship without some scrappy players like that. Look at how much money Draymond Green has earned throughout the duration of his career.
And he
It's not because of
continues.
the box score.
And he will. I don't see Golden State ever giving up Draymond. So they're going to hold that boy down.
He'll retire when Curry goes. Once Curry goes, Draymond will go.
Draymond could punch, scrap, yell, bark. They're going to be like, you know what? This guy helps us out.
Everything short of choking Steve Kerr. Like, he can't pull a Latrell Sprewell and choke the coach. But other than that,
Oh, man. Latrell Sprewell, man. Shout out to the Knicks legend. Shout out to all the Knicks legends that I saw last night, man.
They
That
be
was
popping
cool.
up on the regular, too. I love it.
John Stark, man. Melo.
I'm about to go to John Stark's Kia, my man.
John Stark Key in Queens, man. Shout out to that.
What's the other one? John Stark's Ford of Queens.
John Stark's Ford.
About to go get me a Ford.
You seen everybody on deck. It was dope to see the old Knicks tape on deck with Melo, JR, and Mari together. That was
Amari, yeah,
cool.
Stoudemire. Yep.
That was fly. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
they
I felt that.
definitely show up, man. I like that. I like that they're embraced and welcomed. Hella freeze over if Oakley pop back up, but other than that, all the Knicks is in there.
Yeah. Shout out to the cigar gang, by the way. This is not a blunt. This is a cigar. You know what I mean? If
Cigar aficionado. Put my
you
man on the
smoke some
cover.
cigars, shout out to y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? I love the skinny cigars. That's my joint, man. I can't smoke them giant puffy cigars, man. I just like a nice little slim joint. So shout out to my cigar and wine connoisseurs. You know what I mean? Much love to y'all tonight. Hope y'all enjoying, y'all partaking, y'all liking, subscribing, tell a friend about the almighty RSC. This is our prediction show. We're not covering NXT, unfortunately. We don't. I've kind of fell off with NXT a little bit. I can't front. And Raw actually put me to sleep. I ain't even gonna cap, bro. Raw. I fell asleep midway through Raw, and I think that was telling. You know what I'm saying? It just seems like a rinse cycle repeat on the Raw side of things right now. As we get ready for the next PLE, which is Saturday night's main event.
Saturday
Next
night
weekend.
main event, and then what's next after that? Money in the Bank, probably.
Money in the Bank, yes. So
Cool.
there's quite a few PLEs coming up, so you probably get a couple more prediction shows from us in the next couple of. But I like it. I like when we get prediction show time because we always fly by them. It makes a great episode. Great content. So I'm here for the prediction episodes. Great matches, great PLEs, and it's been a little minute since we've had well, maybe not a minute. We just had Backlash. So yeah, it's just that time of the month. That's all. That time of the end of the month. So. You got double or nothing on deck, though, man. 8 matches, surprisingly. We still probably got 5 more to go before Saturday.
I was about to say, like they're on right now, and that definitely means that by the time we finish up this episode, there will be another pay-per-view worth of matches.
Yes, I think so.
Like this, I fully expect this to be a 15-match card, if you include the pre-show. There will be
You got to
15
get
matches.
everybody. Everybody got to get on. We got to get the crew. We got to get Top Flight. We got to get who we missing. The Don Callis
Hey, I
family got
like
to
it,
have a
man.
match.
Since the beginning, since pay-per-view number 1, I have spent American dollars on every last one of those pay-per-views, and I feel as though I get my money's worth every time. It's not like it's not like they don't skimp on the matches. Sometimes, yeah, the valid criticism where sometimes it might be a little too much, but I'm kind of from the school of like sometimes I think I'd rather have more than less. You know what I mean?
We
I'd rather
definitely
have
got
too
our
much
money
than yeah.
for
It's if I was watching this on Peacock, for example, or if it was streaming free on Max, whatever, make that a 5-match card, 6-match card.
Mhm.
But I'm paying 50 cash for it. Run it up.
It's not streaming on Max?
Nah, not yet. At the
No, I
pay-per-views.
thought they don't put the pay-per-view on Max.
Nah, I don't think Max has pay-per-view capability yet.
Oh.
They had Bleacher Report. They did the Bleacher Report pay-per-views, but it's everywhere else. Like last time I copped, it was on Amazon Prime. Is where I bought it
That's
from.
right, because we watched Dynasty, right?
Yeah. You were here.
Dynasty felt like that was a hell of a pay per view. That was
You
5
see what I'm
hours.
saying? That was long. It was definitely a lengthy show, but it was
Yes.
good. It was good, and I felt like I got my money's worth out of that. So that's one thing for a fact. You are going to get a full show.
Yes. Let's get it cracking, man. Let's get into it.
All right, let's run it down. Like I mentioned earlier, there are 8 matches that are announced. This obviously is going to change by the time we're done. But that being said, let's start. I'm going to go in order how they have it. First of all, we have Jamie Hayter versus Mercedes Moné. That's the Owen Hart Foundation Cup Tournament final. Winner gets a Women's World Championship shot at All In. We have the Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. Of course, MVP is there, and I expect MJF to at least be in the building and make his presence felt. They are defending their AEW World Tag Team Championships against the Sons of Texas, Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara, who also happen to be the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions.
Apropos, they were on the first Double or Nothing too.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
A little tidbit.
Timeless Tony Storm will be facing Mina Shirakawa. She's defending the AEW Women's World Championship. We have FTR with Stokely Hathaway versus Daniel Garcia and Nigel McGuinness. This is another one. I put this probably in the top half of matches I'm looking forward to. Anytime you can get a Nigel McGuinness match, I think that's pretty solid. So I'm looking forward to that.
Mhm.
Mark Briscoe versus Ricochet in a stretcher match. We have Anarchy in the Arena. Kenny Omega teams up with Swerve Strickland, Willow Nightingale, and the Ops, Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Katsuyori Shibata. They take on the Death Riders, John Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Marina Shafir, Wheeler Yuta, and the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson. We have Okada defending that Continental Championship against Speedball Mike Bailey. And then we have what seems to be the main event, Will Ospreay versus Hangman Adam Page, Owen Hart Cup Tournament Final. And that's the men's World Championship title shot on the line. Where do you want to start?
What's going on?
Let's go right in order. All right, cool. So from the top, we have Jamie Hayter versus Mercedes Moné, Owen Hart Cup. I'm going Mercedes Moné.
Yeah.
She's still the TBS champ, but I think this is either a campaign to her, adding another title, so she becomes at least AEW is concerned, 2 belts Monet. Who knows what happens with the other belts? Or this starts the campaign to her dropping the TBS title before eventually going on to win the world title. Either way, I expect her to go to All In and win the title, the world championship. Um, and then we'll see what's next for Jamie Hayter. Like I think at one way or another, this is going to open up the TBS division that Mercedes has definitely had a stronghold on for quite some time, over a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, Jamie Hayter could be there. Jamie Hayter could also be, it would make sense depending on how they do this match, where she could be in line at some point on the second half of the year for a world title shot to face Mercedes. But I'm going Mercedes, man. She'll win this.
Definitely Mercedes. I don't see any other way about this. Jamie Hayter has finally got some time to shine. It's been a while. People have been clamoring for her return, but we know how this goes with Mercedes. I think it'll be a banger. It's probably Jamie Hayter's best match since she returned. But I just think it's definitely Mercedes' time to shine. I just wish the belt would switch hands. The TBS title I think deserves to go somewhere else at this point in time. I think someone else should be holding that belt just to showcase a little bit more spotlight, especially if we want to move up in the main event scene with Mercedes going to Tony Storm. I think it's going to be a clean win. I don't even see no shenanigans. I think it'll just be a clean victory from Mercedes, and that's that. And Jamie Hayter will probably be in TBS title contention. And I think she will probably fade into a feud with Megan Bayne moving forward, because Megan Bayne has nothing going on right now. So I just think she'll probably pick up right there with Penelope Ford and gang. So I think that's where we see Jamie Hayter after this.
And Megan Bayne is really, really prime for that TBS division also. You know what I mean? Like I expect her to pick that title up at some point in the near future.
I agree.
I still think Willow is the one to beat Mercedes, but we'll see. Time will tell all
Willow
tale.
has re-signed too, so Willow will be here full
Right.
time for the next couple of years. So hopefully she's gonna get the title reign that we've all been hoping that she deserves. And now she's got a spotlight prime in the main event. She's got some good runway to take off for the next year.
Speaking of we just spoke on the card expanding. We have a trios match. It is Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, and Kyle O'Reilly. They will be taking on the Don Callis family,
There we go.
Kyle Fletcher, Takeshita, and the walking weapon, Josh Alexander,
There we go.
which should be a fun match.
Adam Cole and that TNT title, man.
Hey, man.
Well,
There's a few singles men's singles titles that aren't being defended on this card,
they
like
don't
the
ever be.
world, like the TNT.
I think this spins off to Adam Cole, Kyle Fletcher, and then eventually gets Kyle Fletcher his first singles title is by beating Adam Cole for the TNT Championship.
I
I
can see
think
that.
that's where we go.
Yeah, I can see that. Who wins this match?
Don Callis family, they need the W. They need the W a lot more. The Paragon, I don't think ever really need a victory. I think they've defined their roles. Adam Cole is the star. Roderick and Kyle will be there to take a pinfall, and I think that's just kind of where we're at with it. I don't really see this feud continuing. I don't know. don't really have an excitement for this feud. It'll be a solid match, but like I said, I'm more so looking forward to the spinoff of Kyle Fletcher, Adam Cole. I think that's where the money is for the TNT title, and getting some gold back on the Don Callis family. Josh Alexander being the third string on the Don Callis family to me is just a shoulder shrug, but we here now, so it is what it is. I just always saw more for Josh Alexander. That's all. I know it's still early, he still got time, but I don't know, man. I really did not think Josh Alexander would settle in as just being the understudy of a Don Callis family faction. And I'm a Josh Alexander guy, so I think when people are kicking my back in for saying he should go to NXT, his pushback was, I don't want to be the second string guy on a developmental brand. It's like, well, you're the third string guy in a faction that interchangeable. It's just interchangeable guys in his faction. And you don't to Josh Alexander has been shown as the guy with a bad ear, a bad neck, and he barely wins. And that's crazy as a Josh Alexander fan. Like,
I
it's
think
just
Josh
observing.
is
I'm just observing.
I think Josh is one of those Will C's. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I'll give you that.
I
I'll
think
give you that.
Josh is one of those Will C's. Like they brought him in to be part of the Callis family, and right now the star of the Callis family, at depending on which day you're looking. I mean, it's really Kyle Fletcher.
He said, which day you're looking at?
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, it's
it
Kyle
could be
Fletcher and
Takeshita.
Takeshita, right?
Yeah.
Kyle Fletcher and Takeshita are the two top guys there. So I feel like at some point, we'll see what they have in store for Josh Alexander. But I think as part of that crew, it's really the Kyle Fletcher and Takeshita show.
Yes, I
You know,
agree. That's where
but
I
I
think.
mean, that's the thing again. Like AEW was crowded, and so was WWE. Look at all the guys that just came back to WWE with all the hoopla.
Yo, it's crazy, bro. But I just think NXT really, even WWE could have used a guy like Josh Alexander.
I don't know. I'm not watching that, so I'm glad he didn't go there. Just keep it a bill with you.
I'm still connected to a little bit of NXT. The main event scene, I think, is just a little whack, but Miles Bourne, shout out to Miles Bourne. I think he's got some great potential, really good chance to be a strong babyface in that division. But this ain't an NXT prediction show, so we on to the next match.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm gonna go with the Paragon for the win. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna go with the Paragon. Speaking of Josh, I think Josh might be the guy that takes the pin here.
See, this is why I went Don Callis for the win, because I said Fletcher pins Adam Cole to
Yeah, I
get
could
them
see that
into
to set it up.
to set it up for All In.
Set up a match. But
But in your vision though, if Josh Alexander takes the pinfall to Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, triple team move is insane.
I mean, look, put it this way: it's either Josh Alexander or like O'Reilly taking the pin.
And O'Reilly taking a pin seems so much more believable.
Yeah. I wouldn't be like you want to figure out something to do with Josh Alexander and Kyle O'Reilly. Just run a little best of 7. Let me see that.
That's
Run
what
a
we're about
best
to
of
get
7.
Sheamus and Rusev before they become a tag team. So I'm with you on that. I'm with you on a best of 7.
Yeah, I think I might switch. I might go Don Callis family. I thought about it again. I'm like, this really feels prime for a Kyle O'Reilly pin.
Pinfall, yeah, man. Like you go eat the brain buster and that's it.
Yeah. All right, so that was the breaking news, the breaking news match announcement.
9 matches.
Yeah, Hurt Syndicate. They defend the AEW World Tag Team titles against the Sons of Texas, Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara. Again, this is the Hurt Syndicate. There is no threat whatsoever. This is a 100% Hurt Syndicate business. I think this is showcase. This is almost like WWF Superstar Saturday morning, 11 a.m. Not necessarily a squash. They'll be back and forth, but this is really the showcase. The Hurt Syndicate plus the new look, the official after the contract signing of MJF. I expect him to be at ringside as well, and he's going to get involved. That's the other thing. He's going to get involved.
MJF has gotten away without wrestling on pay-per-views for the longest time in the last couple of pay-per-views, and I think it's mad amusing to watch. So, the bastard child himself, Sammy Guevara, has returned to television. It's so crazy. The the way he's gone from to like now, it's remarkable. Like you would almost think that he's really in the doghouse still, but you look at the rest of the missing links, and Scorpio Sky, Wardlow, the other guys. So I just think he eats the pin. Like either guy, actually, I'm lying. I think Dustin eats
I
the pin.
think Dustin,
Dustin, yeah,
Dustin
Dustin,
take that. Yeah,
Dustin could take the pinfall, and I think that could probably set up a catalyst to them maybe breaking up and feuding to give him something to do on ROH. I guess, like maybe, something like I don't know. The tag division in AEW is just it's painful right now. Um,
I think it's more so like they just have the Ring of Honor titles, and I can't tell you what's. I haven't watched Ring of Honor in mad long, so I
I
don't
seen
know
Dustin
if.
with the trios belt, and then I seen. Oh, I forgot. Sammy's not the trios champion. I'm bugging.
No, it's the Von Erich.
Are they still active? Like,
I
dog,
don't know. I have no idea, dog.
I
That's what I'm saying.
haven't
Like,
seen their
I haven't
name.
watched Ring of Honor, so I can't say anything. Like, they haven't. I can't. That's not even on AEW. That's if I haven't watched Ring of Honor, I don't know what they are or aren't doing. I don't know if they're back or not. But they're not supposed to be on Ring of Honor TV.
Yeah, so I think Dustin takes that pinfall. It's an easy win. I think this is like a 6-7 minute match. I don't think this even goes too long. This is just gonna be all we hurt people,
Yeah, this is a
MJF
showcase.
shenanigans,
Period.
and
I
honestly, I
don't
would
even
say
think this
MJF
was all that
shenanigans.
complex. Yeah, this ain't all that complex. I think, like, look, between now and All In, if we're talking about the tag team division, you're gonna want a match for the Hurt Syndicate that at least has a non 100% guaranteed chance of a win. Who that
Mm-hmm.
tag team is, we'll see. Is it like we talked about a little last week? Is it the MJF, infiltrates and kind of tries to break the Hurt Syndicate from the inside, and he brings back Wardlow or somebody else like a Hammerstone, or is it another team that makes their presence felt and does feel like somewhat a threat? That's the story that I think they have to figure out between now and All In. This show is not. This ain't competition for them. This is exhibition. Titles just happen to be on the line. This is a superstars match.
You know what's
Period.
crazy? I'm going along with the theory that it's gonna be Hangman and Swerve that beat the Hurt Syndicate. I'm gonna go with that
I haven't
theory.
heard that, but I mean that's what they're lining up as far as like planting those seeds about these guys finally developing a mutual respect. You know what I mean? And we'll get into the Hangman match later, but if Hangman isn't in the world title shot, I expect him to be in a title picture. So that makes all the sense in the world.
They're the most
Um,
credible
yeah.
guys you can make into a tag team to compete with the Hurt Syndicate. And the theory with that is it's Hangman and Swerve defending the tag titles against Cope and Christian at All Out.
See, so there you go. Like you just mentioned the tag division, you just laid out the next 2 or 3 pay-per-view cycles. Have patience.
No
It'll
real
work
tag
itself
teams,
out.
but just well, I mean, besides Edge and Christian, but just
I
the
mean,
manship guys.
they're a tag team, and then that story of Hangman and Swerve is a story as old as dirt, bro.
Man, the crew will never get a chance to shine. Top Flight,
I mean, look,
you're out of here.
that feels that's Ring of Honor title. They should be they should be up
No,
to
I'm
bat
with
to
you on
beat
that.
yeah
I'm
to
with you
beat
on that.
Dustin and Sammy. I just don't know what they are or aren't doing at all on Ring of Honor. They could be having fire feud right now on Ring of Honor. I just haven't watched in a very long time.
The discourse right now is that there's women's pure rules matches, and there's no care about the women's pure title type ish. Like they're almost just like, yo, how are we just having pure matches and like you just announced a women's pure championship and that has nothing to do with this pure rules match at all. And that's Queen Aminata's in that match. And yeah, I just caught the discourse though. Like it's just
I
literally
mean,
just like,
nah,
yo,
man.
it's like, yo, how we have all these women's titles on Ring of Honor and nobody's getting any showcase on any of them. You know what I mean? So I just caught that and I thought that was a little amusing. You know what I mean? Usual AEW, too many titles, jargon. It's like, yo, we have more matches than we have titles being presented and defended. Like we have all the titles and none of them are even presented as a factor of anything. Like Ring of Honor is just all non-title matches with all champions that are just like, yo, I don't defend my belt. Like, what do I need to defend the belt for? Like, Blake Christian go out there and have a ball. Athena Diamante, this ain't for the title. This is just gonna be for exhibition. Red Velvet, we know you're the women's champion, women's TV champion, but we ain't got no TV, so it is what it is. I wouldn't be down. I actually wouldn't mind seeing a Ring of Honor show though, like a good Ring of Honor PLE.
Yeah, I mean those are shows that always hit, and that's one of them. Like, if I watch it, then that little video package that comes before the match is more than enough. That's all I need. You know,
I
I
agree.
have full trust that that show would be dope.
Yes. Next up,
Just as long as Billy Starks ain't holding that world title.
it's crazy. She still ain't even a champion, yo. I thought she would have done it by now.
There's a look, man. Billy Starks, and I'll move on real quick, but like Billy Starks, the match against Athena, I hadn't seen her. Speaking of Billy, I hadn't seen her wrestle or seen one of her matches in a while. And when I saw that, I was like, nah, she can't win. She can't win.
She ain't ready yet. She
Nah,
just ain't ready yet.
nah, nope,
Not to end the historic reign of Athena just for the pop. It just ain't happening yet.
nah.
I get it.
Like the story was there, I guess I get it, but and then the
Bloodline
belt,
it up. Drag it out.
yeah, and then the
More
bell ring.
minions.
World Championship. Speaking of World Championships, Women's World Championship is on the line. Timeless Tony Storm is defending against Mina Shirakawa. It's Timeless Tony.
Timeless Tony.
Period.
Timeless
Timeless Tony.
Tony.
Mina just came back. Um, Reignited this little back and forth because she was involved when Mariah May was the champ.
Mm-hmm.
But this is Tony going. She's hot. She's been hot since she regained that championship, and she's gonna continue, having a hot reign, because they're about to give her a feud to sink her teeth into, and that's
Yes.
gonna allow her to shine, even more so, right? Like character work is gonna take you very, very far as a good character, but when you're talking about title reigns, it's all about the feud. This is, a speed bump on the way to All In, like many of these matches seem to be,
Mm-hmm.
and we're about to pick it up in the next gear once we get that contender, once Mercedes and Tony go back and forth. But
I agree.
Tony's defending, period. She's
Tony
winning.
definitely got this. I think
Yeah.
this is all Tony. Mina, I could see her easily toying in the TBS division or even facing Mercedes soon enough. And I could see her being a TBS champion sooner than later. Mina's popular. Everyone loves Mina Shirakawa. She's won
Right.
me over. So I think she's going to be a focal point, coming up soon. Um, it's funny. I actually caught a thread of what if Hikaru Shida returns with a Joshi faction and just starts to whoop ass. Um, Not opposed to that. It gives Hikaru Shida something to do, and she's a fan favorite. We almost forget she's a 3-time AEW Women's Champion, so I think she's gonna pop up at some point. Very random. I even mentioned her, but I'm just because I'm on the Mina topic. I'm just thinking about the other Joshis that have been in AEW. So I just think it'll be solid. The match will be good. Mina's good. Tony's always gonna be Tony Storm. So yeah, this is definitely gonna be a Tony Storm retention off top.
Yeah. It'll be a solid back and forth, but Tony takes it for sure.
I agree.
All right, that's about halfway. We have FTR. I'm looking forward to this. FTR, Stokely Hathaway in the tuck. They're taking on Danny Garcia and Nigel McGuinness. Danny Garcia is kicking Nigel McGuinness in the balls at some point.
Dick Kick
Either
City.
before the match. Yeah, this is I can see this happening after the match. I'm frustrated. I can see, imagine Nigel McGuinness. I think the match would be short if they go this route, but Nigel McGuinness starts, and then Danny Garcia just backs off, doesn't tag him in or, whatever. But Danny Garcia, that heel turn is happening. But I'm looking forward to this, man. Like, I like the act of Stokely Hathaway representing FTR. It felt odd at first. It's still
Still
a
feels
little,
bad.
yeah, it's still a little rough around the edges, but so what? Like, I look at Stokely Hathaway as a manager in the same ilk of of a Jim Cornette, you know, where he's a character. He's over the top. And I think, or Bobby Heenan, where he's here to represent the best. You know, the only reason I think it feels odd is because we haven't seen Stokely Hathaway have champions yet. This wouldn't feel odd, for example, if this was Don Callis, because we've seen Don Callis with champs. So once we get some champions under the umbrella of Stokely Hathaway, he's of that type of ilk as far as managers are concerned. We're talking about the tag team division. FTR is always a threat. Anytime they want to push that button, they're a threat. Imagine a couple of months from now, Stokely Hathaway being the manager of the tag team champions. It's not going to feel odd anymore. You know what I mean? So, but with that being said, as far as who wins this match, damn, he just definitely walked. That's a walk. Um, Stokely Hathaway and FTR. I mean, pardon me, FTR is winning for sure.
I think
And
so.
then you just keep your eye on what Danny Garcia does. How does he turn heel? Not even does he. I think he definitely does. It's just how does he do it?
FTR needs the W here. I just wish the crowd cared more about Nigel. I wish there was more emphasis on Nigel being back. I just think he spent so much time on commentary and having random matches here and there since the return. I just feel like nobody's really excited. If you don't know, you're not like, oh, Nigel McGuinness is having a match. It's kind of just like the commentator's having a match. Like, so I just would like to have seen more, you know, more excitement. You know what I mean? I can't put that on anybody else other than just the viewing audience. But if you know about Nigel, you know about Nigel. But it just doesn't
I
feel
think
exciting. That's all.
I think that was the case back when he had the match with Brian.
Brian?
I just think there were enough people that knew that feud.
Yes.
I think it's different here because he doesn't really have that long history with anybody involved here. So it's like you're still excited, and I think on the night he'll definitely get a pop because you're getting,
Mm-hmm.
however many couple thousand, what is it, probably 10, 12, 14, fifteen
Mm-hmm.
thousand people in the building. A lot of hardcores flying in, so he'll get the pop on the night. But yeah, to your point, it's like, oh, it's Nigel. You know,
Yeah, it's like, damn, man.
yeah, I think
It's
it's
Nigel
it's Nigel.
McGuinness. It's like, eh. But you know how the companies do. Everybody got to copy each other. So we just had McAfee Gunther. So Nigel got to step in and defend his commentary brethren and have a match too. So you know how that go. Always, you know what I'm saying? The
For
companies
the
always
honor
going
of
to troll each other.
Shivani.
Yes, they always going to troll each other one way or another when it comes to a feud or a storyline. So this was inevitable for Shivani's honor to be defended via Nigel McGuinness, an actual quality wrestler who will put on a quality match. So I think that'll be a sleeper, if you will, of the night
Yeah, it'll be
with that
fun.
tag match.
It'll be fun.
What if we get a swerve and they win, and then they're like a new tag team?
McGinnis and Garcia.
And Garcia
That's a
are like,
hell of a swerve, right?
all right, that's a swerve.
That's
Like
a
if they
swerve.
if they win and then they just start to be on some like, you know what? Maybe we could do this. Like, I think we could take this all the way. And then right when they're about to win the belts, that's when Dick Kick City kicks in. Like, are you kidding me, Daddy? Like, this is what you want to do now? That adds some juice and gives people a reason to care about
Heat,
Nigel.
heat,
Yes.
heat.
It's almost too good and too obvious, but I think that really does add more heat than Garcia finally being sick of being picked on. And because it's like when he turns on Nigel at the pay-per-view, like, what are we gonna say? Like, what is his reasoning? You just didn't want to get beat up by FTR? Like, you're scared of FTR? Like, Nigel wasn't helping or doing the most? Where's Daddy Magic and the other guy? Like, you know what I mean? Where's the guys who can actually wrestle? Like, who are
That could
active
be,
wrestlers?
by the way, like the turn that leads to the confrontation of Daddy Magic and Daniel Garcia. That'll have a little more juice because again, they got the history. You know what I mean? And I can see, like, to me, I think is a little more clear reasoning there for Danny, where it's like, yo, I've been your little brother for X, Y, and Z, and what has it gotten me? That's an easy story to tell, you know. And that's just character development. You get that match with Garcia and Daddy Magic. Obviously, Danny Garcia wins that and moves on. And again, this could be, Stokely Hathaway building his family tree as well. You know,
And this also gives FTR and Garcia a reason to compete for the trios titles. You
right?
know what I'm saying? You got FTR competing for the tag titles at some point. That's the money match. I think that's all out or all in. If the Hurt Syndicate Heat tag titles, like, you can't avoid that match. It's just figuring out the dynamic of a Hurt Syndicate, the clear cut baby faces.
Which I thought was very odd on Dynamite that all of a sudden MVP is, healing on the crowd. He hasn't really done that at all. They've been like, yo, you boo, you cheer, whatever. And then they started leaning into the we hurt people chants and all that. Now all of a sudden he's, talking smack to the crowd, which was like, why? We're
Yeah,
not gonna boo you. You have the hardest entrance in the company right now. You're not gonna get booed. Like the
I
Hurt
don't.
Syndicate is actually pretty cool,
This
and
is
you're
what I just
trying.
don't get, bro. I just like this is escapes me. It's like, yo, dog, they're the coolest, dopest baby faces in AEW, and we're supposed to like y'all are pushing them like they are the monster heels, and it's like nobody believes it. Like nobody wants to boo these guys.
And man, I'm not even sure like if that like I've called it out before where they've wrestled heel in the match, but they've never played to the crowd as heels,
No,
until MVP did. And it's like that's just odd to me. Like people are gonna boo when MJF gives them a reason to boo because he does something against the Hurt Syndicate. So then at that point, who's the face and who's the heel if we're
I
trying to
agree.
get
Like
everybody booed?
this is what I'm like. So when MJF does the inevitable turn, who's the face, who's the
Who am I
heel? Like
booing?
who am I booing here? Yeah, I'm already confused about that, and they haven't even done any of this yet. And I'm already like, so is MJF going back to babyface, even though everyone hates babyface MJ? I like babyface MJF, but the
Yeah.
masses, the masses are just like, yo, I hate when MJF's a babyface. Hurt Syndicate are too cool to be heels, but they're gonna be the dastardly heels that beat up MJF, and then the crowd's gonna cheer, most likely cheer them beating up MJF.
See, what I also can see, which I wouldn't do, but M MJF is the catalyst for a split of the Hurt Syndicate. Because like Bobby is not going to be a clear cut heel ever,
No.
right? I can see Shelton Benjamin kind of going where MVP goes. So what if there's a break where like Bobby at some point gets cast off and the Hurt Syndicate, like MVP and MJF are now running the Hurt Syndicate?
Oh, so we're going back to the pandemic then. It's like, oh
I
yeah,
wouldn't do it.
we're just gonna ruin the group again before
I
they even
wouldn't
take
do it.
off.
I wouldn't do it. I'm just throwing another scenario out there.
Supposedly the money is MJF Bobby Lashley, which would be a really good
But that's what
match.
I'm saying. MJF and Bobby Lashley. But if MVP is like a little more clear cut a heel than the rest of the group is right now, then where does his allegiance lie when that split actually does happen?
Agreed.
When what is the split?
Do you think we get a Cedric Alexander cameo?
Sure, I think he comes in, but I can see him like again, if we're talking about a split, MVP and MJF break off, Shelton Benjamin follows along. We add Cedric Alexander for numbers, and Bobby Lashley is on his own.
I hate
I wouldn't do it. I
I
would
know.
not do it.
I hate it.
You
I
know what I'm
already.
saying? I wouldn't do it.
But it's on brand though. It's very on brand with AEW to just break up a faction in the middle of them being popular, and then Bobby Lashley's just figuring it out on his own, and they don't get the cool theme music anymore. And now we got to find something else. Like,
Yeah, I wouldn't. I would not do it. But I'm also very confused from what I saw on Wednesday.
yes, like anything can happen because we know the company we're dealing with, but I just don't think that's the move we got to go with. We hurt people. Let's keep it going.
We do.
You can't cut this theme 3-4 months into them being in the company. Are you kidding
Same.
me?
I'm riding that until people stop chanting it. You know what I mean? That's to
Yo,
me, that's almost like the Jericho joint, like Judas.
oh Judas.
Yeah.
Yo,
It's
we
the
ain't seen Jericho in a while.
cool.
One time for that, bro. One
Cool.
time for the Chris Jericho hiatus, man.
Cool. Cool with me.
That's been nice, bro. I ain't
We
going
still hear the
front.
music.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
still hear the music.
yeah.
But yeah, no, like I don't know. I don't I would to me like I'm running that until people get tired of the song. Then it's like,
I
all right,
agree.
maybe we're tired of the act.
I agree.
Like
I agree.
I think the well, anyway, her syndicate for the W, obviously, there's no danger. And then it's like, all right, between now and All In, I expect them to kind of pick up the pace a little bit. Mark Briscoe and Ricochet in a stretcher match. When was this made a stretcher match?
On Dynamite.
I missed
On
that.
Dynamite. Yeah, I believe either this past Dynamite or Collision last week, they made it official. Just they've been having their feud. You know what I'm saying, going back and
Yeah.
forth. Ricochet's needed something to do. Mark Briscoe is always that good baby face that you can put against anybody and it's gonna work.
And
It's
Ricochet
tough,
is
man.
having like a career resurgence as one
Yeah,
of the best heels in the business. So this is a fun combo right here.
It's tough because either guy needs the victory here, but they're not taking a pinfall, so it's not as treacherous. I think just for the sake of ending this, since it's already a gimmick, you can't really punch it up. You've already done a cage match recently. Like, what else more can we do? A first blood, last man standing again. Like, for the sake of ending this feud, I think Mark Briscoe gets the W because Ricochet doesn't need the win. He doesn't take the pin, and Mark Briscoe could use a pinfall on pay-per-view after eating a pinfall every other pay-per-view in the last couple of. I'm going Mark Briscoe.
Yeah, I can see that, and that's a nice feel-good pop. You know, there's going to be a lot of chaos, and there'll be some matches that are kind of heavy and emotional. You know, the Stadium Stampede match is going to be chaos. The main event is going to be emotional and all of that. This is just going to be fun. You know, there's going to be some humor spots. There'll be some ball head smacking in the back of the head type of
Yes.
you know, spots here. And Mark Briscoe is always a feel good victory when he actually
Yes.
just take that W. So
I agree.
yeah, I'm gonna go Mark. I'm gonna go Mark.
I'm with
I
it.
believe we have three more matches to go. We
Flying.
have Anarchy in the Arena.
Ooh,
Once
the car
again, Kenny
crash.
Omega, Swerve Strickland, Willow Nightingale, Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Katsuyori Shibata. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. Against the Death Riders, John Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Marina Shafir, Wheeler Yuta, Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks. We have 12 people that will be fighting all over the arena. I have no idea who wins this. These
I do.
matches really also don't ever have like implications as far as story is concerned. Like they're fun on the night and they might sell the injuries for a bit, but unless I'm mistaken, these matches kind of are in a vacuum because there aren't really stakes ever.
They're
You know?
just stepping stones to the next part of the
Yeah.
feud, which is going to
I
be
think
blood and
there
guts.
might maybe they set up the next
Blood and
combos of
guts.
wherever everybody goes and all of that, but this is gonna be just chaos. So I don't even think it really matters, to be honest, who does or doesn't win, which is why I'm gonna go with the baby faces taking the W. I mean, for starters, Kenny Omega is on a team. That's reason enough to believe that Team Omega wins this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, how and who gets beat, I don't know, but I'm going Team Omega.
I'm going off the tradition. I'm going off everything they showed us previously, just off prior, Anarchy in the Arenas. I'm going the heels. Shibata takes the pinfall. Gabe Kidd cameo because the fact he's not in this match was kind of confusing to me, but
Yo,
whatever.
what happened? Wasn't he announced? Was he ever announced for the match, or was he just
He was just the guy that just popped up. People thought it was Josh Alexander without his headgear because people didn't
no?
know
But
who
like he
Gabe
was
Kidd
never
was.
announced for the match, right?
No, it was just all speculation because of his
Got it, got it,
interference from
got it, got
Cage
it. Yeah,
match.
I thought he was in the match also,
I was
and then
hoping he
when I saw the
was.
rundown, I was like, all right,
I was hoping he was, but I think he's going to be the help that they need. In typical fashion, I think the heels win Anarchy in the Arena. Shibata takes the pinfall. I just don't know the chaotic ish that they can get away with because every Anarchy in the Arena has the most chaotic ish ever. So there's only how you're going to step this one up. When last year, Eddie Kingston was about to burn somebody down to the ground a year and a half ago. You know what I'm saying? The last one. I just don't see what chaos is going to erupt. Like somebody's got to fall from the ceiling at
yeah.
this
I
point.
mean, that's for the creative people to come up with. You know, that's for
Yeah.
the wrestlers to come up and bring ideas. I can't predict that at all.
Yeah, I can't call the spot of the match. Like we've seen so much chaos in these type of matches that I just don't know. It's got to be like damn near Moxley's gonna fall from the ceiling, or just from the bleachers or something. Like someone's gonna get pushed New Jack style through a table off a balcony. You know what I'm saying? Like that's as extreme as I could see it going. Because how do you top Eddie Kingston in that fiery blood image? That you know what I'm saying? Like how do you top a moment like that?
As far as just images are concerned, you don't, because that was fire. That's Eddie Kingston's Stone Cold against Bret Hart moment, sharpshooter finish. Like
Yes.
that's
Like
iconic imagery.
you know what I'm saying? And this is always the catalyst to step up for blood and guts. So blood and guts is where the babyface get their pullback. So I just think heels take the victory. It's not going to be the main event, and they can get away with the babyfaces losing, and it being a guy like Shibata taking the pinfall.
Valid. Valid. All right, moving on. We have Okada versus Bailey Continental Championship on the line. This is
Nah,
going to
that's
be a fun match, but this is Okada. Like
all okay.
again, this is Okada. We're gearing up for Okada Omega. Period. So on the night, like I've enjoyed Speedball since he's been in AEW. Anytime he's on TV, it's fun. And this is going to be a fun match. But Okada
Two guys
is,
didn't make the cut for Anarchy in the arena, even though they were present.
hey,
You
that's
know,
fine. That's
they
fine.
having their own spinoff. The Continental title, it's crazy. I actually saw the potential, but yeah, go ahead and pack this title up, man. Let's just get it out of
I don't
here.
even think you got to pack the title up. It just doesn't need to be a thing outside of the tournament. You can be the Continental champ, just like we have NBA Finals champions, right? You don't defend your NBA championship in February of the following season.
It's like the Owen Hart. It's now gone from a belt to a title shot. So
But I mean, that makes sense, right? You are the Continental champion, and with that comes a number one contendership. But whatever way you want to spin it, like what are the stakes there? Right? Just like you're the Owen Hart Cup winner and they give you the title and all of that. You don't need to defend the Owen Hart Championship on Collision. You know
it's
what I mean?
just too many. It's just a lot of gauntlet contender eliminators. Like this is what we get out of AEW, but it's
I
almost like
like
if
the
you
title. I like the tournaments, right? The eliminator matches sometimes feel a little um predictable
yes,
more so than the tournaments do. Like the tournaments, you especially like the first round, you could look at most of the time. You're like, all right, we know who's coming out of that. But at some point, once we get to like the final four, the finals itself, then it's you know a little more interest in there. Like
like if
we
you make
have
the
with
C2 the number one contenders match for well, you can't really because it already culminates at World's End, so it'd have to be the
like
number
this is simple, man. You got the Owen, which is a single elimination tournament, right?
the
And you
summer tournament.
but it's also a different style. It's single elimination, and then you have the round robin C2, right? In New Japan, you have the New Japan Cup, which is single elimination, and you have the G1, which is round robin. Both
Mhm.
of those end up with or have stakes where you win that, and now you have a shot at a championship.
Yes,
So that's it. That's all. That's all both of those need to be. The Continental Championship does not need to be an actual title that's defended, and which I think they're going to. Once Omega and Okada have that match at All In, that's going to be a unification match. I don't think that cancels out the C2, but Okada's. It's getting back to this. Okada's winning. We already know that. That's what
yeah,
type
I
of
think
time. It's
so.
just going to be a low key when we're talking about matches of the night. I think this has the potential to be a little bit of a show stealer just because of the pedigree of both of these guys that are involved. And if Okada is on level 10, he feels like putting his working boots on that night. I have a solid match.
Good point. Definitely a good point on that one. You know what I'm saying? And
But
Hong
I
Kong
think
fully gonna do what he.
Speedball is definitely the guy that would bring it out. Like the pacing that Mike Bailey brings to the table, you know.
Yo, they said he looks like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat's daughter, and I haven't unseen it, so I've been crying. Yo, the internet is a sick place.
Yo.
Hong Kong Fooey looks mixed with Steamboat's daughter is insane, son. Yo, the internet, man. Holy
Speedball
smokes, dog.
Steamboat.
Speedball Steamboat, man. That was insane, dogs. Holy smokes, dogs. But yeah, man. I mean, it's time for the main event, right? We almost there.
Absolutely. Hangman Adam Page, Will Ospreay, Owen Hart Cup finals. Winner gets that world championship title opportunity at All In.
Yes.
Ospreay.
Osprey. Osprey.
Going
Osprey.
Ospreay. This felt or feels like first of all, the opening segment of Dynamite was money. I think they could have chopped a little bit of the end off, but 85-90% of that was just really well delivered. And that's kind of what you want out of your big guys. Your main event scene, both of these guys were very, very clear as far as what they're fighting for, what their motivations are. It's not personal. In fact, I brought this beer out. Let's just have one beer before we go to war in a couple of days. But we are going to war, and I'm going to beat you because of what I have to fight for. I thought that was it's so simple, so simple. These two aren't at each other's necks because they have a dislike for each other. It's actually the opposite. It's professional respect. But all that goes out of the window once that bell rings. But that being said, man, like
Tough.
this is Osprey's, official coordination, I think, or the start rather of his official coordination as being the number one guy officially, because he'll win that title,
He
he'll be the
should.
one to beat Mox.
He should.
Um, and Hangman is always interesting because he's on this 2-year downward spiral. And he said it himself. I don't know what happens if I lose this match, So what happens when he loses the match?
It's kind of wild. I think it's almost so obvious that I could see Hangman winning. Him losing the finals back to back years. I don't know. It's very Jimmy Butler of him, and I just think I could see a world where Hangman gets the victory after outsmarting Osprey. Then we get Hangman Moxley. Either Hangman Moxley, Osprey Moxley is a good change of pace. It's fresh. It's
Right.
main event worthy for All In. I just
So
think
if you
Osprey is more
you have
believable to win.
Osprey winning, right? But what do you know, what is it? It's not 50-50, but what is it? 60-40? Like I don't think this isn't a 100-0 type of vibe here.
Nah. If Hangman wins, he outsmarts Osprey. I think
But
that's
like
what it
what do
comes
you
down
give?
to.
Like what's the percentage that Osprey wins versus Hangman?
I think 70-30.
70-30.
I think everyone's Osprey heavy, but I just think you can't count Hangman out because of his pedigree, and also he could really use this win. He lost in the finals last year, and him losing back to back finals, like I said, is very Jimmy Butler of him, and it's just something telling about that. I almost can't see that happening, and if he does pick up the victory, I think he almost turns a hidden blade upside down, or something that we're like, oh, Osprey's got it, and all of a sudden he just is like, oh, wait a minute, Hangman got it, oh snap, like roll up 1, 2, 3, like it won't even be like the buckshot Larry, it'll literally just be the roll up, and we're all just like, yeah, that match was fire, but that ending came out of nowhere, like, and Hangman wins via a roll up to where they could possibly run it back on Dynamite on some like, nah, you didn't even beat me decisively, you had to roll me up,
That's
you
a
know what I'm saying?
decisive that's a decisive win
That
though.
I get you, and that's a heel move of Osprey to say some stuff like that. But
Yeah,
it's
exactly. To me, like that's that Bret Hart joint. Like, I don't have to beat you with the sharpshooter. I just have to beat you, right? And I
yes,
didn't cheat. I just outsmarted you.
I just got you on a roll up, didn't even use the ropes. I just pinned you to the mat, 1, 2, 3, it's over. And now I'm going to the All In main event, and you're gonna have to figure out your way and probably be stuck in the Don Callis vortex. See you versus Kyle Fletcher again, Will Osprey. But nah, it's tough, man. It's tough to call with that match. Like I said, I think Osprey like you, but I could also see Hangman getting the dub, man.
Yeah, I just think like we talked earlier because they've been planting those seeds of like a mutual common ground, a common ground, a mutual respect rather, for Hangman Page and Swerve. I think that's probably what's next for both of those guys. They'll revisit this. They have common enemies all over the company. So that'll be the vibe for them. And Osprey will ascend to that world title, that throne,
It's
top
crazy
of
how far
AEW.
Darby Allin has fallen off. At least not he says falling off a mountain, but he is.
I was about to say, like he didn't fall off, but I don't think he fell off.
Nah, he
I
didn't. I mean,
think
he didn't
like
fall
this
off.
is this, yeah, it's not like we're not clear on where he's been.
Yeah,
That's the difference. If Darby Allin just wasn't on TV, then it's like, where's Darby Allin? Which is it's not always bad. Like we just talked about Jericho. Sometimes just not being on TV is
yo, come
the
on, man.
refreshing break that character
Nah,
needs.
Darby and Jericho ain't the same, man. You know, as the head of the Darby Allin fan club, man,
But
I would have
Darby
loved
Allin's
some Darby
coming
Allin.
out of losses though. Darby Allin's coming out of you get your opportunity. Orange Cassidy, right? Orange Cassidy not being on TV right now is dope because you just came off of getting your big shot and losing. Take a break. I don't believe that you should just come back and just be cool pockets again.
I believe he's injured, actually.
Whatever. It's not
Yeah,
bad for his character.
Agreed. I'll give you that.
As soon as when the music hits and he does come back, there's a pop, there's something refreshing, and then we'll see what direction he goes in.
I agree.
So we know what type of time Darby Allin's on.
I agree.
But yeah, nah, I think we both agree here. This is Ospreay. He goes on the All In to face Mox.
That's a hell of a main event.
Yep.
That might be my
look
best
at
match.
All In shaping up. Like just those two top world title matches, Mercedes and Tony Storm. That's bread. That's
money.
good money.
That's
and
an
then
arena.
Mox and Ospreay, that's good money.
That is
we'll figure out the MJF shenanigans with the Hurt Syndicate and who gets involved there. Some nice tag teams.
Omega Okada,
Omega Okada. There's some
All In looking good.
All In is looking solid. All In is looking solid, and I fully expect Double or Nothing to provide quality violence and quality pro wrestling entertainment. But that's your preview and predictions for AEW Double or Nothing episode 120.
Yay.
From yours truly, the Ringside Club, man. Once again, theringsideclub.com. Everything you need is right there. Click something, follow something, subscribe to something. Yeah, I mean.
Nah, we do, man. 120 of them things. We appreciate y'all for always checking out, checking our content out, liking, subscribing, following, staying interactive. Salute to all the homies that rock with us. As always, BG Dub, Keeks, Public Enemies, a lot of good homies, man. Salute to all of y'all out there right now in WrestleLand that's getting prepared for this hell of a weekend of sports between basketball, NBA, WNBA, the playoffs, baseball, wrestling. Like, if you're a sports aficionado, this is your weekend, man. For real, man. Knicks in 6, the vibes.
I mean,
OKC probably in 4. So, we making it happen, man. Salute to everybody out there in internet land that's rocking with us. It's another episode down. It's our prediction show. Next week, we have... What show is next week? Saturday night's main event. We don't really need nothing for Saturday night's main event. It ain't really like that serious.
No, isn't it? That's not tomorrow. That's not this weekend.
Wait, is it? No,
I think
TakeOver. The NXT pay-per-views. You're
on
right.
Sunday.
Saturday night's main event.
Battleground is running the same time, or running at least the same day as Double or Nothing. I think it's the same time.
As the Knicks game?
Nah, both of those are running on Sunday. Well, are Knicks playing Sunday?
Yes, they're playing OKC Sunday, game 3, 8 o'clock.
Right. Yeah. So, but Battleground and Double or Nothing are both on Sunday. I think Saturday night's main event is this Saturday.
Real quick, then, I guess, pull up the card real quick while we're here, then. I literally thought it was next weekend, yo. That's how much so early I fell asleep on Raw that I didn't even realize the shit was on this weekend. It's just been rinse, cycle, repeat. Not a lot of matches, but I don't think the matches have much implications. I mean, we already know it's going to be predictable. But it's for the sake of just giving it a quick little clip. Logan Paul, Jey Uso. I think that's going to be Jey Uso retention. What credence do you give the idea that we're going to see the Usos and...
All right, here we go. We got 4 matches on the card. Jey Uso, Logan Paul, World Heavyweight Championship. Punk, Sami Zayn versus Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. John Cena versus R-Truth, non-title. And then Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre in the steel cage.
That'll fill up some time. That's definitely a Saturday night main event. I'm off top. Who won at WrestleMania between Drew and Damian? Already forgot. Who won.
I don't remember, bro.
Whoever lost at WrestleMania is winning this show.
I think Drew won.
Yes. So Damian is going to get the lick back, and then they're going to continue to have a feud for the rest of the summer because there's nothing else going on for either of them.
Yeah, I mean,
the Drew McIntyre vortex is now forming, ladies and gentlemen.
I do think that, Drew's not beating Damian twice in a row, right? So we'll get the third. So this will tie it up. I'm gonna go Damian Priest as well.
Yep.
Jey Uso, Logan Paul, World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, we know how that's gonna go.
Yeah, go on Jey Uso. Yeah, clearly, is this his first, or this is his second defense, right?
Second, technically, yeah. What credence do you give the Money in the Bank rumored main event of Cena and Logan Paul and Travis Scott versus Cody and the Usos?
What?
Yeah, that's the word.
Say that again. I couldn't even process that.
Cody and the Usos versus Logan Paul, John Cena, and Travis Scott is the current rumored plan for Money in the Bank. Boss said the bits exactly.
I mean, all right. That's for
Buying
somebody.
stuff? Nah, you ain't really jacking it.
That's for somebody. Ain't for me.
You know, that's for somebody. Like
It ain't for me.
it gives the world champion, it gives the champion something to do. Also, BS because you're not going to defend the title at Money in the Bank, given the title of the show. So,
Not for me. Not for me. But
yeah,
all
I
right.
think that
You
that's where
catch
we're going.
that news, speaking of WWE, that they pump faked on New Orleans?
Yeah, man, I saw that. That
Back
was
to Vegas they go is the word.
yo, come on, man. If anything, take it back to Philly, bro. I'm down for another Philly.
I saw some people saying, "Yo, what about Philly?" But I saw more people, more reputable people that would know that it looks like Vegas Part 2. It looks like Vegas Part 2. And that feels very on brand for Nick Khan.
They said WrestleMania Double or Nothing was the me. WrestleMania 42 Double or Nothing. It was
Shouts to my
mad
man
funny.
King Ricky Rose. He texted me earlier. I was like, "Yo, WWE is Double or Nothing for real. Like we're going back to Vegas."
I would be cool with London. I just know people would be sick of the time difference, though. I tell you that much.
Nah, but that's a nice daytime joint.
I'm
No,
cool
no,
with
it's
daytime.
not.
It's 5 hours behind. No, 5 hours ahead in London. So it would be an afternoon
Yeah,
PLE, like Money in the
yeah,
Bank.
it'd be a nice little
Yeah,
daytime vibe.
daytime mania,
Which is,
which
I
is
mean,
pretty much
for a
all in.
mania, yeah,
All in it
exactly,
would be. Yeah,
exactly.
same
For
vibe.
be out of here by like what 8 o'clock? You feel?
2 days, like I'm actually kind of here for that. I'm not jacking Saudi though. I just think the Saudi crowd for WrestleMania ain't the vibes, man.
I saw. Matter of fact, let me pull up Ricky. Ricky texted me
No
like
disrespect to the Saudi viewers and audience, but I'm just not here for a WrestleMania in Saudi. Y'all already getting Royal Rumble, so I don't think we need WrestleMania on
and
there.
that's next year's Rumble, right?
Yeah, that's the Sami Zayn Royal Rumble.
So we mentioned Saudi, we mentioned London. Rick said like Saudi probably, London probably, Toronto would be dope. Um, Atlanta would be fire. Like
Atlanta would melt. They'd
an
be
Atlanta WrestleMania would be fire.
they would melt at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Like that whole weekend in Atlanta would be ridiculous, dog. You
Yeah,
know we
you think you heard Fiend a lot this year.
You think you saw Quavo, 2 Chainz, Lil Yachty, and all them Atlanta rappers
They're
enough?
bringing everybody out. They about to have Luda.
Big Mike,
They about to
so big.
have
Killer
the
Mike,
yep.
Pastor Troy gonna pop up. Everybody's showing up
Chill,
for WrestleMania
Pastor Troy.
with the belt. Everybody's showing up at WrestleMania in Atlanta. So that's fine.
Big boy gonna be out there with the dogs.
Andre gonna play the piano for
I was
somebody
about to say
entrance.
Andre gonna do the Star Spangled Banner on the piano and the flute same time. Hit the
Ah,
pyro in a kilt. Makes no sense.
and now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing WrestleMania, Andre 3000, Atlanta's own.
In the Andre 3000 quartet, and it's all him.
Very urban and on brand for WWE though, so I wouldn't be surprised. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with Atlanta WrestleMania
Yeah.
vibes.
But
What's
nah, I mean the looks like the word is back to Vegas. Y'all go. Enjoy that.
what's the next match? We got one more, right? Yeah.
Boom. We did Damian and Drew. Two more. Punk, Sami Zayn team up to face Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker.
Tough. Maybe not. Might be overthinking it.
I think Punk wins.
I'm going the opposite. I'm going
Actually, nah, this is the Sammy turn, right? Are we expecting Sammy to actually turn?
No.
Is that still a thing?
Nah, I don't think
Nah?
Sammy turns. I don't think Sammy turns. I just think he takes the pinfall, unfortunately. which would
Sammy.
probably piss off Punk and probably spin off to them having a one-on-one match for no
Yeah, but
real.
that feels kind of heelish for Punk.
But it's also like Punk could still get away with it because he just did that with Roman, and everyone loves Roman. So it's like you could still be like, "Yo, I didn't even need your help." If I'm being real, like on some like, "Yo, you didn't even need to like even be here. Like I was gonna beat these guys up without you because I'm CM Punk and I don't need help." And Sammy will just be like, "Nah, you needed my help." He's like, "Well, since you lost, you needed my help. Like you ate the pinfall." And I think that's what'll just buy them time. But I think this will probably spin off to singles matches respectively. I don't know where to call it with this faction, but I think they need to win more than anything. You can't beat them in their first real official tag team match, the first outing as a group. So I think they get the pinfall, and Sammy's the unfortunate one who takes the fall.
Yeah, I can see that. I was only saying that because, like, I was saying um, Punk and Sammy, because like we just saw. I mean, it was to advance the storyline, but we just saw Seth not successfully, contend for the world title. So to me, it's not out of the realm of possibility. I don't think he loses any real juice. Plus, I think Braun Breaker would be the one to take the pin anyway. I don't think Seth would be the one.
That's tough.
But but Punk ain't taking any pins.
No.
And this is prime for Sammy. This is Mick Foley,
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Keep the momentum up for Braun. I just don't know, like if we get a back and forth with Punk and Sammy, I don't really think that's the catalyst for it. I don't think it should
Not
be
like
anyway.
a. I don't think it'll be a feud, but I just think it'll just be them just being like, "Yo, like Osprey and Hangman, like let's just heat check each other. Like we haven't had a match against each other.
Right.
Like it's Raw. We've got filler. We've got time to kill. Like let's have a match." And then
Could
this
be.
is where Punk, I mean not Punk, Rollins and Braun continue, and they'll stop that match from even finishing. Like they won't even get a decisive winner because they'll just show up and ruin the match.
So
So
that's that. And then we had Cena R-Truth.
yo,
Title is not on the line.
our truth, man, our truth for the
I
dub.
agree. I agree. R-Truth for the win.
Our truth with the sneak victory, just to have everyone in an uproar that he just pinned John Cena, his childhood hero, without the title being on the line, just for the ish and giggles. I'm kind of here for the chaos, but
I would do it.
you know that ain't gonna happen. It's
Nope.
Cena with the easy
Nope.
victory.
I think
Uh,
the fact that they made this a non-title match just made people not as clear as to what we're looking at right now. But John Cena is not losing the R-Truth.
so I think good question. Do you think this is the main event or not?
I thought that it was going to be the main event before because I thought it was a world title match before they actually booked it when we talked about it last week before, whenever.
Right.
That being said,
What do you think the match order is with only 4 matches? How do you start and how do you end this? Tough.
so I think we start with the cage match.
I'm with you on that. I think that's how you get it popping.
Yeah, I think we start with that cage match. I think maybe the main event is Uso and Logan Paul because it's the world title,
That'd be cool.
right?
I would be nice of Jey Uso to main event a PLE for a change.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the only title that's on the line for the show.
For them to not get the main event and then a non-title John Cena R-Truth main event,
Right.
the discourse that we're gonna see online of just like, yo, dog,
Nasty
what is
work.
happening right now?
Yeah, nasty work. I think that cage match opens. I think Jey Uso match main events.
Main event Jey Uso. It's only right. It's literally only right that main event Jey Uso main event's a PLE, yo. At least once with this title
And
reign.
I'd probably put Cena and R-Truth on before that match. So that's the third match, and then the tag team match would be the second match. I put the Cena match before the Uso match because Cena's winning, you know. So a little heel victory, and then Jey Uso entrance to pick the crowd back up, and then send them home happy with the win.
I could see that. I kind of would switch the two. I'd put Cena and R-Truth, I think, going to be next. I think they'd be the second match, just to be a little bit of a difference maker from the cage match. You know what I'm saying? It's a quick little 1-2, and everyone gets their John Cena energy out.
Yeah. Good point too. But
Do you
yeah,
think Cody pops up or nah?
where would he come in? Like to did we mention that before? I think I said that last week. Like it's the Cena beating R-Truth after the bell type of vibes, and then Cody comes in
Yeah,
to make the save, something like
which
that. If
could make
that's
it the main event, which is nasty. It's still kind of nasty too, but
But I mean, look at
that's how
how
you
they
get it.
look at how they did Elimination Chamber. The order in which
Yes,
they rolled that turnout made no sense until we saw like, oh, that's what they're doing.
yes.
You know,
So if Cena and R-Truth main events, we get a Cody Rhodes return because it's been some time. I ain't mad at it. As a Cody guy,
again,
like
like
I'm
just sit
cool with it.
down
I'm
for
cool
a
with the break.
second. Yeah,
I'm cool
sit
with the
down
break.
for a second.
We don't need this much Cody Rhodes, but we are going to have to get this much Cody Rhodes coming up because SummerSlam and Money in the Bank.
SummerSlam season is around the corner, so it'll be back sooner rather than later. But it is good for him to just sit down for a second.
Yes, he didn't burn out the crowd with "I'm sorry, I didn't get the job done"
Oh, you
every
know,
week.
it's kind of either way, we're getting that promo. I
If
let
this
you
was the
down. I let
if
my
this,
daughter down. My father. And he'll shake his head
this
and
was
try
the
not to cry.
if this was the other regime, we would have seen Cody every week on a redemption tour by now.
Yo, he would have got the training montages in his home gym.
On the way back, Cody Rhodes. Like, yeah, if this was the old regime, the old guard, this wouldn't have dragged out long. Cody would have been back by Backlash. He'd have already had the rematch at Backlash. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like there would
Yeah.
have been nothing different. So yeah, I'm cool with the Cody break right now. Solid PLE. I think it'll always be a cool passable PLE with these
It's a
Saturday night.
nice little TV show. A little
Yeah, good
Saturday
TV.
night main event, nice little TV show. No titles are changing. We might get a return. I don't think there's any, we're not going to be heavy on surprises, but
No.
it's a nice show. 4 matches in and out, 2 hours. Done deal.
The most noteworthy could be a Cody Rhodes return. That's the noteworthy thing I think that could be taken away from this
Right.
weekend if Cody comes back.
Yeah, there's the Cody Rhodes return. There's whatever comes out of that Punk, Sammy, Seth, and Braun match.
Do you think
Like I
they add a
think
new member?
this would be an interesting time to do it.
And who?
I don't know. That's why I said earlier, like, is if Sammy turns, is that the third member? But if it's not that, then I'm not really sure who the person would be.
Ethan Page.
This has been episode 120.
Ego.
Holy moly.
Yeah,
Pack
that's
that
funny.
faction up. How about that? How about that? Back to NXT you go. This has been episode 120 of the Ringside Club. A little bit of Saturday night main event predictions, double or nothing predictions. Y'all are probably going to tune in the Battleground as well. A lot of wrestling happened. TNA has a show, I believe, tomorrow. So, yeah, happy wrestling. Enjoy your wrestling. We'll catch y'all next time for 121. Until then,
We out.
peace.